Hello, I am doing another video on transition and transgender related topics. This one is on names and pronouns. Names and pronouns. It's a very important subject to people in the transgender community. So, my name is Elizabeth Graham. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and ma'am. I began my medical and social transition in November 2015. If you meet a transgender person and they tell you their name, that is their name, regardless of what is on their documents, their legal documents. Um, if you are in the rare circumstance or situation where you have the legal need to know the name on their legal documents, okay, but that does not give you the right and it does not give you the green light to start calling them by the name on their documents. The name that they tell you is their name. Many transgender people change their entire name during their social transition. I am one of them. I chose Elizabeth because it is a common name. It's always been a popular name among many generations, so it doesn't seem to be associated with a particular generation. Um, I had a friend in elementary school at the time whose name is Elizabeth. We got along well, but of course over the years we sort of, went our separate ways. I chose my middle name, Kathleen, Kathleen. That was my mom's first name. And Graham, Graham, my last name. I chose to do that because, well, first off, I was tired of my Chinese previous last name. I got tired of the stereotypes. Yes, I was adopted from an East Asian country. My dad's side of the family is Chinese descent and Chinese immigrants. Yes, I am racially Asian, but culturally I do not identify as such. Had I switched my last name to my mom's name, which is a very, very uncommon name, then people would Google it. My dead name would come up in obituary searches, and if I'm looking for a job, that could lead to, prejudice reasons masked by the you're not qualified answer. So that's the reason why I made that legal change. I also go by Lizzie, Lizzy, with a Y. I know IE is more common, but Lizzie with Y just seems more practical to me. Respect the person's name. I cannot emphasize that enough. Respect the person's name. Call the person by their name. Use the person's name, whether you are talking with them, to them, or about them, away from them, or in their physical, audible presence. And the longer you go making a mistake and having to correct yourself, especially in front of them, the less you'll come across as being respectful of their name and who they are. Just put in the same amount of effort you would when a woman in a heterosexual marriage following the tradition or the practice of changing their last name because of marriage. Put that same effort, put the same reminders on, practice it. Because if you don't use their name, you're going to invalidate who they are. It's just invalidating, disrespectful, and you could trigger some unwanted feelings, often dysphoric feelings and other negative feelings. Oh yeah, I also chose Elizabeth because I am a fan of the British show Keeping Up Appearances, and there is a character on the show. Her name is also Elizabeth. Very funny character. Unfortunately, that show is no longer on, and one of the co-stars of the show has recently died. So my condolences to the show. So anyways, pronouns. Again, my pronouns are she, her, hers, and ma'am. I'm not a big fan of the sir, ma'am thing. It just seems rude, presumptuous. Um, I personally don't use them. If someone uses sir or ma'am in accurately, then I'm fine with that. But I don't like the word sir being attributed to me in conversation. I find that very offensive. Recently, someone who, let's just say someone I thought I knew well, said yes, sir, when I asked her a question. And, I asserted that I found it offensive, but she still shrugged it off as it being a common saying, not meant, towards me. But even though I said I still found it offensive, please don't misgender me, she still shrugged it off. Just as a reminder, regardless of your intent, you could still offend someone. Just please keep that in mind. Some of my other friends and acquaintances in the transgender community use different pronouns. They may go by he and him. They may go by they or them. They may go by Z and however you actually pronounce HIR. Her, I think that's how it is. But there are different many pronouns that I've heard when I'm in transgender meeting spaces. I'm sure that there are more pronouns being used than what I mentioned, but regardless of the person's pronouns, respect them. I also have friends and acquaintances in the trans community that don't go by pronouns, name only, and respect that too. So please try to be respectful. If you are unsure of a person's pronoun, here are 2 ways to start off with being respectful. They, them, or name only. Most people will tell you you can't go wrong by going by those 2. But if you want to be absolutely on the safe side, use name only until you figure out until you learn otherwise. So definitely, you stick with names or they, them when you don't want to be assuming a person's pronouns, or you're afraid of being offended by someone, or you just don't know. Trying to think of anything else to add. I think this is my 5th take of this clip before I'm sending it off. So basically, I know I might have said a lot, but basically here's the bottom line that I want you to take away. For a transgender person, regardless of how long you've known them in transition, use their names, regardless of what's on their legal documents. If you know what's on the legal document, fine, but still call them by their name. The name that they tell you is their name. Pronouns. Use the right pronouns when talking to them. Depending on how long has gone by, you do not want to get to the point where you have to be corrected or where you have to correct yourself. Again, the longer time goes by where you are being corrected or having to correct yourself on names and pronouns, most often your respect meter goes down. And that definitely will depend on how well you know the person and your relationship to them. So, again, just please do your best to respect the individual's pronouns. Again, thank you very much. My name is Elizabeth, or Lizzie, she, her, hers, ma'am. Thank you.